Welcome back to Terpyhighs, back with another video for the channel. Today we're in the Blem Genetics breeding project room. We got two 4x4 grow tents behind me, just with some random lights that I had left over from 5 years ago. Today we're going to be upgrading those lights to Grandmaster Tarantula Ultimate Tent Grow Lights. Each of them are designed for 4x4 space, so we got two of them on stock. So let's jump into assembling the lights, and then we'll touch base on what the light offers and get them into the grow tent. Okay, so we got the lights assembled and in our grow tent room. So we got them both here, a front view and a back view. So we'll just go over the design or the layout of the Tarantula Tent Ultimates. These are designed for 4x4 space. You can see that there's two close bars on the sides over here and then two bars over here close to the sides. That gives us a almost nearly perfect PPFD around the entire canopy space inside the grow space. You can see how there's much more diodes on the ends, allowing for more PPFD against the walls, and then obviously less in the center where there's more overlap from all the other lights. So well designed light, very well designed light. On the back side you see the driver is mounted here. You can also order an optional extension cable here, allowing you to mount this outside of your tent or wherever on the wall, wherever you might like. But overall, the design of this light or the assembly is quite easy. And then in the event that one of these might ever get damaged, one of the bars, it's very easy to just pull this out and replace a bar. You don't need to get rid of your entire light, and then simply click it back in like that. Super nice design. I'll show you guys again. Easy to pull out and click back in. There's a dimmer knob here, and is a smooth design, so you don't have to be stuck with 20%, 50%, 70%. You can go anywhere in between. A lot of other grow lights on the market have click style, so you can only go to increments of whatever the set desired amount is. So, and you can also connect this to a light controller that's not on the unit. We're not going to be using that for this space, but it's a good feature to have there. So I'm going to get the old grow lights out of here and see if I struggle or damage any plants while getting them out of here and the new lights hung back up in there. After I get the lights up, I'm also going to add that second layer of trellis netting in here. I really wanted to wait to add this trellis netting until after I replaced these lights, but the timing just didn't work out. So we're going to do that now, and hopefully I don't damage any of the plants. Alright, so we got the lights installed. You can tell by the diode colors up there and the light spectrum, much different than what we had in here before. Super excited to see the outcome of these lights over the next few weeks. Since we're in flower stage already, we're on day 3 of flower. I have the PPFD set to 620 PPFD at the front, or in the dead center of the tent, and out here by the walls it's around 595, so not much drop off from center to the wall. So very good design on the Grandmaster Tarantula Ultimate 4x4 lights up here. I like the design, having the two bars here, so not much PPFD drop off against the walls. So even coverage across the entire tent. As you can see, we got a full canopy in here. Lots of tops, and that space opened up for our reversal plant right there. So we'll give them about another week or so before we introduce the reversal in there on both tents. This tent's going to be a little bit more stretchy at the back, bigger strains or bigger plants over there going into flower. I'll just update you guys in a couple days so we can see the results or the change from this light in here compared to the last ones, and then we'll also at that point get the second layer of trellis netting in here for extra support once those plants get up there and are filled with seeds. Much more weight compared to just a flower run, so we're gonna need that. And who knows, maybe we'll even throw under canopy lights in the next round of breeding projects in the grow tents. So let me know in the comments if you want to see the Grandmaster under canopy lights in here. And we also got the discount code terpyhighs that can be used on the Grandmaster website. Links will be in the video description below. Alright, so transplant day. I have these, I think these are 4-inch pots. So those are a good size to transplant the clones into. We're using ProMix HP over here. I found anytime you're trying to grow mother plants or straight, just keep genetics around, ProMix HP is the best option from what I've found. It holds water for a good amount of time and is very easy to maintain the plants in a healthy condition. So we got 100% success rate on the rooting. We just have one that was a little bit slower, but it has shown roots today, so that's good timing. So pretty much we have 3 clones of every single strain that we have. I have sent off El Chapo and Malibu Marker, so one of each of those clones or strains to my buddy that sent me all the other strains. So thankful for him for sending me out all the strains that in his collection for the breeding project. In return, I sent him the 2 other keepers that I have for right now. But as you can see, nice healthy white roots ready to go. Like I mentioned in the previous video, that these Rockwell cubes are pretty small, and I was a little worried that it was going to be difficult to root in them, but looks like everything did very well. A lot of them have a lot of splitting going on, so the Rockwell was splitting in half and drying out pretty quickly, but we'll get that transplanted today. So let me set up the tripod and then we'll get to transplanting. So we got the clones transplanted. I picked the best 2 out of every strain in here, and then we have 1 single gastropop, which I don't really need because I have an outdoor mother plant as a mother plant outside right now, so I can just take clones off of that plant at any time. But just to have a backup, we kept 1 of those. But overall, super healthy. So what I like to do after a transplant, especially in ProMix HP, which is a peat-based medium, is bottom water. When plants are this small, it is a great idea just to always bottom water. So what I do is just fill the tray with like a liter or so of nutrient mix. Right now we're just using the nutrient mix out of the grow tents or the breeding project, which is around 3.3 EC and a pH of around 6. So some people will say the EC is high, but that's what I've been feeding them in the clone process and the plants that they came off of, so they won't have any issues. You can see even through the entire cloning process, no yellowing, no burning going on, super healthy, green stems. So I'll put the water in each of these pots or trays until we see that the top layer is saturated with water. Don't overfill this, just wait until this fully goes down And then if it needs more after about 15-20 minutes, that you don't see the top getting wet yet or moist, then put another liter or half liter in there until you see that. Take your time, take an hour or two until they get fully saturated, and then they'll be happy. And then we'll put them under the lights and we'll check out the light spectrum and PPFD once we get them back into the tent. Okay, here's a little update. We're on day 20 of flower. So as you can see, the tents are quite full at this point. I did do a under canopy stripping or lollipopping. We got the reverse plant really propped up there on an upside down watering jug, just so it can get to the same height or similar height to other plants. This side of the tent is much taller than the other side. We'll open this side to check out the reversal. So the reversal is sitting right there. No pollen is getting released yet from the pods, even though the pods are opening. There hasn't been any pollen that's been released, or you'd see those white hairs turn orange or red, letting you know that the pollen has been contacted with the white hairs. So we don't see any red hairs or orange hairs going on right now, so that tells us no pollen has been released. So I have no worries of having both tent doors open right now, just for the updated video. It's going to be tough to give you guys an update in this room once the pollen starts getting released, because obviously I don't want to open the doors and have the two different types of pollens mixing, so then we would have mixed seeds. But this tent is looking a little bit better than the other side. Super healthy across the entire tent. A few of them are getting a little bit tall to the tops of the lights, but around this level right here we have about 680 ppfd and then like closer to 700 on the taller ones. But you can see just how nice all these strains are in here so far. Same thing, cleared out the under canopy with the lollipopping. Here is the El Chapo reversal. Again, no pollen on this side either, but I have another El Chapo over here in this tent, and this one I'm using as the tester because I'm grabbing a nug off of there and then breaking it apart to see if any pollen is dropped out of them, and it's not being released just yet. So that's our tester plant, just to confirm. And then these other two tents are our production tents. So we got the Malibu marker crossed by 8 strains in there, and then El Chapo OG crossed by 8 strains in here. We did get the light down there installed. This is from Grandmaster LED. It's the Predator light. Normally you have 2 of these bars. Because I have 2 tents right next to each other, I put 1 bar there and 1 bar over here. We're running it for 15 minutes during lights off period. It's supposed to help with reducing the bugs if you have any, or as a preventative measure, not allowed any bugs to really reproduce much. Just a preventative measure, not 100% on killing all the bugs or not, but good idea to have it. So far I haven't seen any bugs or anything, so the plants are looking good overall. Really liking the Grandmaster Ultimate tent lights up here. Great spectrum. Plants are obviously healthy. We do have a little bit of discoloration right there, or nutrient deficiency from the calcium. calcium deficiency. I don't have any CalMag here, so we're just going to run the cycle without CalMag, but overall doing very good. A way to avoid the calcium deficiency is just reducing the light a little bit, or adding CalMag to your nutrient mix. But overall, happy with what's going on in here. I'll throw up on the screen the pulse environmental monitor or data from the THC sensors from each of the grow tents, along with the sensors in the reservoir tank right there. So all I'm doing for the water or irrigation at this point is coming in here and plugging the pump in that's in there on twice a day. So one about an hour after the lights go on, I turn the pump on until I see a little bit of runoff, and then about halfway through lights on, I come in here and do the same thing. So far that's been working good. I can put it on a timer, but by having it manual, I get in here and really get to check out the plants and make sure the irrigation cycle's on point. But you see, everything's nice and green, no purpling on the stems down here. And then over here on our clone tent, the goal for these clones, obviously these are just copies of the strains we have in here. So we have 13 strains in here, 2 plants of each, I believe, and then there's 1 plant of gastropod. We just have a single plant there, but the goal with these are just to keep them. We're trying to keep them as small and grow as slow as possible. We don't want them to grow large. We don't want them to become unhealthy. Just want them to pretty much grow as slow as possible while remaining healthy. So this is the Astro Pink. I like this strain quite a bit right now. And then we got the Platinum Kush over here. This is the fastest transition into flower and the most vigorous plant out of all of them. But you can see just all the different ones we have. Mac 1 right here. Zucchies, I think it's called. So this Zucchies strain, while I was transplanting, the tray fell on the ground with 1 clone of each type of strain. So I did my best guess to see which plants was which. I hope I chose right, but these do look a little bit different. So I'm thinking this is the Zucchies and this might be Malibu Marker, but we will see later on in the next round. I'm not going to release these plants in the future to anybody because of that mistake. But all the other ones were transplanted before that tray hit the ground. Overall, let me know what you guys think of the tents. This is quite full. I'm going to have to get in here and do a leaf stripping to get some airflow and light into the middle of the canopy, as it is pretty dense in there. So that's all I can pretty much tell you guys about in here. Not much is really going on at this point. It's just watering the plants when they need them and waiting for the pollen to be dropped from these reversal plants. Otherwise, it's on cruise control. Not much watering needs to be happening in over here because the light is not very strong and they are not uptaking a lot because we're trying to keep the light intensity as low as possible. So let's head outdoors and I'll show you the 3 plants I have as mother plants for another project that we have going on. Okay, so here are the outdoor plants. We got Platinum Punch Cake, Gastropop right here, and then we have Oreos over here. So these 3 clones came with the other clones that are currently in flower in the grow tents. They've just been out here the entire time instead of being indoors with the other plants. We don't have the Platinum Punch Cake indoors. This is the only clone that survived the transportation. And just look how healthy it is and how many tops we've got from it being out here. So super healthy. Nice and green, lots of clone potential out here that we can take. I'm trying to get 30 to 40 clones off of each of these plants, but we've just been feeding them the runoff from the grow tents. So any runoff we get from the grow tents we bring out here with a bucket and pour into the soil. It's about 7 gallons of ProMix HP in the ground. This ground is not very good for plants, so we did 7 gallons in the ground. It's been working out well. No bug issues, obviously. Nice and green. No deficiencies out here from using runoff, non-pH'd. So whatever comes out of the plants, we just give them. We don't pH anything. Don't change anything. But yeah, that's just a quick update for these 3 plants. A little overcast today. Give you a look at all 3 at the same time. So let's head back indoors and we're going to check out the light spectrum and light intensity and DLI that we get from both the lights in the grow tents and for the clones using the Pulse Pro. Alright, so we're back in the grow tent room. I got my Pulse Pro here. This center black and white area is the par meter. So all we need to do to get this reading on the dashboard is hold the black button here on the side for about 15 seconds, and eventually you'll see a white light flash in this area right here. That means it's taken the par reading and the light spectrum reading at the same time. Once that has flashed, you can move this away from the location it is. But be sure to not move the Pulse Pro into a different area or turn it until you see that flash go off. So I will throw up on the screen right now what the reading of this Pulse Pro is right here in the center of the clones right here. So we're getting an even reading from both of these T5 light bars, and then we'll know what the light spectrum off of these lights are. They're just generic Amazon lights. See that white flash? So we're good to go. So the graph will be overlaid right now, so we'll be able to see the light spectrum, the PPFD, also the DLI if we have the light time set correctly in the Pulse Pro dashboard. These are set to 24 hours, so they never shut off. In the Pulse Pro, I have this actually in another grow space that is in the flower stage, so 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So the DLI reading will not be correct for this application, as I just brought it in here for this video to get this. So let's head into the grow tents and get the readings off of that so you guys can see the differences between the clone setup and then our Grandmaster Ultimate tent lights in here to see both the light spectrum and the PPFD in here at the canopy height. Alright, same process in here. Hold the button for about 15 seconds at your desired height to take the reading. So as you can see there, holding it for about 15 seconds, and then we will let go of the button and it will take a few seconds to get that white flashing light before we get a good reading. So we'll just leave it there. I can't really see it, so I just wait about 15-20 seconds in this type of situation where I can't physically see the light flash, just to make sure that we get a good reading and it takes all the data that we actually want. So that's about enough time, I think. Okay, just want to make it clear that the environmental conditions inside this entire room with the grow tents is not ideal for the clones at all. Way too low of humidity, the temperature is a little bit too high. It's just what we're doing currently for these stages of growth in these 2 tents with the reversal plants. We need to keep the humidity low so that the reversal plants inside these tents drop the pollen and the pods dry out enough so the pollen drops in front of the fans and it can spread around the tents. So don't mind the temperature, humidity in here. We're just focusing on the light spectrum and the PPFD in here and somewhat of the DLI. The DLI is not set correctly in this space when we showed the data for that, but it is set correctly over here. So just a general overview. We do have a discount code for the Pulse website for any of their Pulse branded products. that is terpyhighs, can be used to save a bunch of money on their equipment. Alright, so hope that little segment helped you guys with the Pulse products. That's all the time I've got for today's video. Hope you guys liked the little update on the Blem Genetics breeding projects. I have off camera actually did a pollen test on some dry pods. We do have pollen, so I'm going to give it another 10 days for naturally dropping the pollen, so hopefully get that spread out across the tent. If not, we'll take the next measures and manually apply the pollen on the plants. So until next time, happy growing everyone, and remember to get out there and make it happen.